So in this project we are going to code this website. You can see it from here is a sort of it emulates a sort of social media, no? In the structure there is this input post and users, pages, and a navigation bar. Anyway, the approach that I want to use is different from before. Before the first video, we really coded the whole page in front of you. So because it was the first video, I wanted to do it. The second one was very fast, and we just saw the code because I didn't want to repeat something useless. And in this third lesson, we are going to see a problem that occurs in all websites. You can see this website really nice, always the same things. There is a header, okay, there are multiple elements. There is a header, a navigation bar, an aside, and a main. Anyway, if I inspect and change the size of this page, you can see that it quickly becomes unreadable. So we can, for example, this could be the width of a phone. Now you can go here and choose which kind of device you want to see. Maybe you didn't know it. You can have a look at each different device. Anyway, simply talking, this is a phone, more or less they are all the same, and you have the iPad is different, and etc, etc. We will keep it simple, of course, but this is very important to consider. And of course, right now our page is not responsive. So the goal of this project is to make this page responsive, and so this is the subject. I will start with an approach that is more is not exactly what I prefer, but is the best way to start and to learn, and also sometimes is how we actually code. This way is how to we are going to focus on only one element, not consider the others at all. We will finish this element and we will move on. So in this second page that I have here, I have only the navbar, the header. So right now we are going to make the header responsive. This is the goal of the next 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever will be. So let's see, right now let's see the code that is behind it without any media query, because probably you already know, I hope you already know, because anyway you should know it, that to make design responsive we need media query. I will not cover the syntax of media query, we will cover how to use it in this situation. Let's quickly view the code, because you need to understand what I did before. We have a header with a height of 5 viewport width, viewport height, a background color, it occupies a width, and is a display flex. So the result is this triangle, so to say, this rectangle, so to say. The H1 has a color, a font size, is aligned to the center vertically, and a flex basis. This is a new feature that I think I didn't mention up to now. Flex basis is part of the flex attributes. Having a flex basis of 25 viewport width means that my old master H1 now is completely gone. My old master H1 is exactly 25 25% of the viewport width, and I made this and I used this flex basis all along my code to space my elements. You can see it even in the input, flex basis 25. You can see it in the div of links. I have here a div of class links that is containing the 2 links. Has a no, I didn't use it here because it was actually it was stacking there, so I didn't use it. I used it margin to give it a little margin from the input, and text links. I used flex basis here. Apparently, I don't really remember what I did here, and some margins, etc., etc. Up to here, nothing new. So we can see. Let's write a media query to make this responsive. Of course, I'm not going to write Facebook, but we can make it at least presentable. So since now I think the web page could be fine, even at least the header could be fine even if we don't modify anything. Even now it's okay, but from here where old master gets like that is not good anymore. So we have to write a media query, and it can just get worse. So we have to write a media query on 630 and something. Okay, so how to write a media query? The old way that I'm going to teach you, the way that you can do without frameworks is quite long, unfortunately. In fact, frameworks make things easier, but we are not discussing about frameworks. So you write at media all, meaning all means that you are targeting all the elements. You can write other things, but we are not going to cover this because it's not the topic. The topic is to see how to really do it. So we are going to target all, and we have to specify when. So we target what all, and when max width is 630 pixel. Okay, so when is less than 630 pixel, all the elements are going to respect new rules in addition to the previous ones. And now we have to write down all the rules that we want. It sounds very complicated, but it actually not, because how we work. You pick these things, okay? You copy them there. You look at what you have, and you start modifying it, okay? So basically, what do we want? I want those 3 elements that we have, the h1, the input, and the link, to be stacked vertically. So I want them to not to be in a column, not to be in a row, but to be in a column. And then we have to modify all the heights, etc. So for sure I want the header to be much higher, and now it's much higher. I want background color, yes, to be green, okay, with green, okay, 100% okay, and then we use flex direction, which now is not, I think is not row anymore. I think it should be column, and that's what we want. Now we need to give it a little, to change other things, and then we will be done. So let's pick header h1, and since everything is correct, I mean all this color will not change, font size shouldn't change, align self center shouldn't change, flex base is useless, but if you keep it, it will not affect anything. You have two choices: or you delete everything and it's okay, but then maybe you will not be able to modify it in case I was wrong and actually you need to make some changes. Otherwise you keep it and add what you need. What do we need? In this case, I think that the margin of old master h1 is too much, so we need to give to our header, to our h1, a different margin, for example 10 pixel. And now I already mentioned it. And the same we have to do with the other two things. We just need to adjust the margins and we are finished. So we take the input tag, actually here there is a little more to do, because we need first of all to adjust the width, give it a 70 viewport width as width, and then we need to align self at the center. And all these properties that I'm writing are of course only valuable when there is the media query. So this is the purpose of the media query. Then we pick div-id links, and I will change something here, and then what do we have to change here? Nothing special. Let's just write it down so we have a clear understanding. For example, this margin left, first of all I need to align it to the center, align self center. Okay, they are to the center. This margin left that I needed when I was on a computer, now on this new viewport is useless and is not working because it is considering this value. So even though I deleted it, I didn't override anything. I was wrong. We need to write explicitly that the margin left now is 0 pixel, and now is at the same level as old master, as you can see. So it is okay. Now we have to adjust the margins of all these different elements. So we go here and simply give it some margins, and then we will copy and paste them. Okay, so for example, like in this way, I think that we have created a pretty good responsive media query. So we copy and paste the two margin that I just took on the yeah, okay, this is the full project. I was pretty unsure of this margin left. In fact, it doesn't seem to be really on the line. The reason is that before I was using the viewport width value, so I need to stick with viewport width value to override it. So now we have 0 viewport width, and the project is finished, and we can move on with the other elements. One thing that I forgot to say in the first section, and I say it before I start the other section, the media query must always be at the bottom of all the elements that you are writing on. So right now I wrote the media query of the header, and it has to be under all these different properties that are the default properties. Otherwise, the default properties will override the media query again. This is the concept of the cascading style sheet, no? In general, we should just write the media query at the bottom of the whole CSS. If you want to keep your code tidy and keep everything that regards one single aspect of your page at the same line, write the media query of that aspect, so of the header, for example, at last. So you are sure that all the media query attributes will be respected. Let's now move our focus to the main part of our web page. For how it is structured, we will write the media queries pretty much for all our three elements together, because we have to work in this way. As you can see, we have an navbar, a main section, and an aside. Before we start writing media queries, I want to make a brief overview of the code itself for those who may not know what are the elements involved. So as before, we have a navbar which have each section have an h2, and inside a div of class navbar container we have free h tag. You can see the navbar here, how it is. Have a look at it. Let's see how it's styled. It has a flex basis that defines the width of the page. It has an absolute height value to give it the height. Then this is the navbar container, so the container of the A, which have a display flex for the A and a margin left of 3 viewport width, and the H2 have a margin left of 2 viewport width, so that's why they are in these positions. And the A probably are just simply styled to look like A. Okay, end of the navbar. Let's have a look at the main section. Main section which have a section ID of first text area. We didn't talk about this, what it is. Probably you already know it. Anyway, I didn't talk about input or text area. Let's have a look at this input tag here. Input tag is always accompanied by label, which is its label. And input tag has can be type of text, number, submit, many different types. Is an attribute that you must provide to input. Can have a name. It can have a placeholder. Text area. It works very similar, but is different in itself because it has an area. You can define a width and a height. Actually, you can define it even in the input, but text area is meant to be a text area, in fact, no? So we have a text area here, and then a simple section with a random div. Let's see how I styled it. Well, let's see, the page is simply like this. Very simple, but I styled it in a particular way because I wanted to show you the grids, even though it's not necessarily, probably it would have been better to not use grid, but I wanted to show you grid, display grid. So the page, the main has become a grid in itself, and here I'm defining the column and the rows. So I have 2 rows of 200 pixels each and a column of 40 viewport width, like flex basis, no? 45. Then I have a margin, okay? 40 viewport width is the column, and 200 pixels are the rows, and the gap is 220 pixels. So if I come here, you can see it here. that, for example, if I modify this in 300 pixel and 300 pixel, it modifies the rows. You can see it. And if I modify this into 60 viewport width, I modify the width of the columns, and there is the gap, which is the gap in between. It is very simple. Actually, is not the best solution to work on one single row. I already said this about grid and flexbox. Flexbox works better for one single row or one single column, like in this case. Grids for multiples, but this time I wanted to show you how it works, the grid, even though it is not the best example. Then last, I want to show you the aside, which there is nothing particular to show. There is really nothing particular to show. What I want to only show you, basically there are these inputs, and so these three divs. There are three divs and an input. In fact, there is you can see ID of 1, ID of 2, ID of 3. I have in my aside itself, the whole container has a absolute height. This is a little approximate. I shouldn't write the code like this. And all the different ID have a height. Like this one is 25%. This one is 17%, and the other one even 17%. They are relative to the height of the aside. So is 25% of 500 pixel. We will see when we will style the code, the responsive design. I think this will might cause some problems, but we will face it when we arrive to there. Last thing that I want to show you before we start with the responsive design is this text area, which I styled it with particular care, just to show you the different properties that we can add. As you can see, if I hover on it, it changes the color. If I focus on it, my cursor changes, and even the bottom. Let's see the code. 1 second. We can see I have written a background color, which I found particularly. I have a background color. Border radius is to make the border like a square, spheric. Then we have border 2 pixel solid transparent. I have transition, which is some sort of peculiar. So all the transitions where it passes from one state to the other, they are not instant, but they are they happen in a defined time. So that's why they work like this, for this transition property. Then text area on hover, you can see I cursor pointer, it remains cursor pointer. Background color, I changed the background color. From a design point of view, you need to place a color, always place a color that is slightly more clear, more light, more bright than before. So this is the design side, no? You have to place when you style the on hover, like for example for the bottom or for the text area, you need to give it a slightly brighter color in order to appear beautiful. And then on focus, so if you press on it, the cursor pointer become text, and so it changes my my cursor. And that's it. Okay, so here is it, a brief excursus, and now we will start with talking about how to make it responsive. Okay, so let's end up this project by discussing the responsiveness of our main part of the page. we can see from here that our navbar is working correctly, but the main part is not working fine. Here is clearly not readable and not at all. It doesn't work, even though it's quite readable. Now, if you go even further, it's impossible. Anyway, optimally, I think here is okay. It could be okay, but it couldn't be smaller than this. With this disposition of the layout, we have to change the layout at 580 pixels. Okay, so 580 pixel. Let's see what we can do. We need the media all and max width 580 pixel. This is how to start the media query. We need to target the container of the main part of the page, which I typed. It's a div of class container, and we have to give to this div the property flex wrap. So this is the key to make the change on our page. As you can see now, if the elements before, when they couldn't occupy the space that they need, they were shrinking down, because this is the default setting of flex wrap no wrap. With flex wrap, once they cannot stay at the same line, they get stacked down, but they do not change their size. Okay, now of course is even worse because the aside is vertical, but now we will fix it. Let's see how to fix it. We need to target the aside and give it a display of flex. So now the aside is horizontal, but we can see that height that we have given to him is making problems. Actually, not too many problems, but we have said that the height was a problem. So let's go and make the change, but not here on the media query. We can just go and modify the code here. Is better. Let's fix the problem once for all. So this height should be 500 pixel. It could be 40 viewport height, 35 viewport height. I think it could be okay. And of course, even these heights, which were relative to the height of the container, we want it to be different. So we want to use viewport height. Let's see if they are correct. This I will keep it 40% because is the input, so is the element children of the box. But this I want it to be viewport height, and now we don't have the same problem. Okay, now of course I should make some little changes, but is not the scope of the lesson to really create a page. We just need to see how do we work. And okay, now is better. Now of course we need to give the space to the main page, because that was the goal, no? So how do we do it? We just use flex basis. Maybe there could be two ways, maybe. And I will use flex basis. Otherwise you could use flex grow, but I want to use I show you. if now I use flex grow of 1, I think it will be displayed exactly how I wanted. But you can even use flex basis of 60 viewport height, for example, viewport width. It does the same job, and yeah, almost the same job. But if I do, maybe I should do less than 60 viewport width, maybe 40. Okay, let's use flex grow. I see that I'm having problems, so why not use the simplest solution? Is occupying the whole page, but I even want the divs to get larger, and I will use I have to target the section. I just will not make things complicated by try to target the is not really correct on a big project, but let's target only the tag, the section tag, and give it a width of the whole container of 80% of the container, and this will work fine. It seems that I have to give it a wider space, as you can see from what I coded, 130%. And I was thinking of the reason, and the reason is that flex grow that is making me difficult to understand how big is the main. So right now the main is small, the main as an element is smaller than the main as what we can see, but let's just give it a viewport, a width of 100%, and we don't really need to be afraid too much of this. Is not a problem, and that's okay. And right now everything is already quite okay, as you can see, even though is not really correct. What we should do more, and I don't think I want to do it, is to of course style the navbar. We should create a sort of effect that brings our navbar with a different font size. We can even try it, but we can maybe we can have a look at how to do it, giving a second media query a little smaller than this, but it's a little. It will be very long to really style the navbar so that it becomes beautiful to look. Anyway, you could make use of the flex shrink and give it a flex shrink of 1, but it's already shrinking because the flex grow is doing his job on the main. And then of course you give it a font size of a different size. Now I don't know how big it is. It seems I didn't even give it a width, a font size, so I can yes, we can simply do like this, and maybe we can even diminish the flex basis, because at a point it gets still too big, but of course, yes, the effect is a little too prompt, no? We should do it in a different way. First of all, I think we should do it after a while, so 880 pixel, okay, and after a while it gets like this, giving letting space to the main page. And pretty much is what I wanted to show for to give a style to our web page in a way that I forgot one thing, that here those elements, they need to be at least you should use flex wrap in order to make them stacking when you want. And that's it. Yes, I used a width of 33 view per width because otherwise they were overflowing from the page. This is pretty much the project that I wanted to show you. I hope you have found some interesting clues into this project. From now on, we will start using also JavaScript in our projects to make things more complete and interesting.